Good day, this is Ray. Today is Saturday, February 15th, 2025. For me, another day of learning and growing. Hope that you, your family, friends, and loved ones are doing well and staying safe. So this is a topic I wanted to talk about for a while, but wasn't sure exactly how to address because in some ways it can be controversial. In other ways it makes sense. And for me, it made sense to do this is having a debt consolidation loan. And you're seeing me now, I've paid off 62%, approximately 62% of $115,041.89. My journey started 4 years and 8 months ago. I do keep track of it. And I had to make a lot of tough decisions when it came to paying off this debt and how I was going to pay off this debt, because basically 100% of my income was going towards servicing debt. And I just had to, in the beginning, very aggressively pay off debt. I was fortunate that I was back home with my parents, recovering from a lot of health issues when I was diagnosed with lupus back in 2019. And it just so happened that in March of 2020 was when we were on lockdown for the pandemic, for COVID. And so I was able to just aggressively throw as much money as I can. And in that first year, less than a year, I was able to pay off $19,000 of that debt right then and there. And had a nice follow-up year the following year. But then I moved into my own home and that all changed. But anyway, I was looking back at my debt. And just my credit card debt and the loans that I had, which was a personal loan and maybe 401k loans at the time, was $61,565.81. Credit card debt was $28,000, almost $29,000. And my monthly payments were extremely high. I mean, I can't even tell you what it was. I don't keep track of that anymore. I don't have a snapshot of what it was. But like I said, it was just a lot of money going towards service and debt. So if I were to be in the same position now, where I am a homeowner, it would be impossible to eat or afford my medications or afford to drive or do anything, because I would just be throwing all of my money towards debt. So I want to talk about, some of the pros and cons of doing a debt consolidation. I'm going to look at the pros first. So it's a single monthly payment. So I do have only one loan left. And yes, it is a single monthly payment. When I had credit cards, I have to keep track of the due dates. The interest rates, they were just different all over the place. I had interest rates up to 28% on those credit cards. And it was just a lot to juggle, a lot to maintain. With my personal loan, I make my minimum payment, but then I also make an extra payment so that this year I'm going to pay off the last of that debt. As a matter of fact, the 15th is when I have my payment withdrawn. And it withdrew this morning. I'm going to make one extra payment, and then I'll be on track to be able to pay off this last personal loan this year, which would be a huge hurdle. The interest rate on my loan is a lot lower than what the credit cards were. So I would say at the beginning of my debt payoff journey, I paid off the smaller credit cards, which weren't a lot, but once I paid those off, I closed those because those were retail credit cards like, Macy's, JCPenney, Amazon, whatever. I closed those, not only because they had insane interest rates, but, some of those, not those cards, but there were cards that had yearly fees, and it just didn't make sense to have those. Right now, I only have 5 credit cards. And the way I use those now is completely different than how I used them back then. I use the credit cards for the points, but I budget the money that I'm going to spend already before putting any charges on the card. And then I pay off the card before my statement due date. So yeah, having a lower interest rate makes a huge difference. I don't have it in front of me, but I believe the interest rate on this loan is at 9.25%, maybe. Either way, that's still high for me. I even consider as recently as last year finding a different loan for a smaller rate and then paying this off and having that lower interest rate. And I get to that in the cons, there could have been additional fees, and I'm accruing that's new interest. And anyway, I'll get to that a little bit later. When I did this, I've done this twice, consolidated my debt. But when I did this, I noticed almost automatically my credit score improved. Before I purchased a home back at the end of December of 2021, I forget exactly what my credit score was, but when I started doing this, my credit score got into the 800s. And because of that, I was able to secure a very low interest rate on my mortgage, fixed mortgage, of 3.25%. That was definitely a benefit for me. Yeah. And then lastly, I would say another pro is that it streamlined my finances. So I have 14 bills, fixed bills that I pay each month. It's as simple as that. I'm not stressed. As a matter of fact, a lot of the time I'm bored with the progress I'm making towards paying off debt because it's become a lot easier. Like I said, you're seeing me after I've paid off 62% of $115,041.89. I may have the number a little bit off. But, so the pace for me is a little bit boring, and that's fine. But that's why I'm trying to refine my debt payoff journey. I'm dealing with real life situations. I posted a video Thursday that I'm only $30-some away from meeting my medical deductible for the year. And it's not even March. I mean, we're just now halfway through February. And it's been a while since I've hit a deductible this quickly. I hadn't had to pay those bills yet, but they'll be coming. And I'll be prepared for it because I'm setting aside the money necessary to be able to cover that. And I'm fortunate to have a health reimbursement account that a portion of that will be covered by that, but not all of it will. So, I would say those are the cons. Now, the pros, but the cons can be, the upfront cost. I faced upfront costs when I took out a loan. I believe it was with Lending Club. But with my credit union, I didn't face that. I didn't have the upfront costs when it came to it. As a matter of fact, the last consolidation loan I took out was with the credit union, and this one was $17,000. And as of this morning, I'm down to like 80. I'll tell you exactly. It's like 8,400 or something like that, because that payment just drafted. And there are, upfront costs to consider. It might be a couple $100 that you have to for the origination fee. And when you're wanting to pay off the credit cards that you wanted to consolidate debt, or it could be medical debt that you wanted to consolidate into that loan, that's definitely something to consider. Something I forgot to mention is that when I did take out the loan, I immediately paid off those credit cards with that loan. I took out only enough to be able to pay off the loans, and it was even less than what I had to be able to pay off my credit cards and whatnot, because I wasn't trying to accrue more debt. My debt since 2020 has only gone down, and that's incredible progress, for me, that I could say that. But anyway, back to the cons, upfront costs, a longer repayment period. So I would say in my situation that consolidation just made sense. And you have to look at your own situations and really think about, what you're going to do. Take a look at all the numbers and say, is this worth going that route? am I strong enough to be able to take out this loan and not go further into debt and spend like I used to spend? Because there's a temptation to accumulate more debt because you don't have any debt on your credit cards. You'll see that it's like, hey, I just freed up all this money when you hadn't freed up anything. You still have that same amount of debt, but you have, open credit cards and you're able to go back to your old ways. I don't spend like I used to. That's just not, it's not how I roll. It's not what I do. And I'm glad to be in this place. So there's that temptation to accumulate more debt. And then there's a risk of losing collateral if you secure the loan, with your home or your car. And, you're unable to make payments, whether from a job loss or a medical crisis, whatever. There is that, that chance. So this is my experience. I'm not a financial expert. I'm not here to offer you the advice of taking out a loan to consolidate your debt, but it has worked for me. So this morning, so I made a minimum payment. I was wrong about the number. My loan is at $87.20.36. I'll need to make an additional payment of $470.36 to be able to pay off $825 this month for that personal loan. And actually, it's going to be fairly easy this month, which I'm glad to say, even with the upcoming medical payments that I need to make. But last month, I paid $905.42 towards the debt. This month, I'll be paying $899.33 towards the loan. And then I'll be 10 payments away of having no personal loan, and also having which means I'll have no medical debt. I'll have no credit card debt, no debts on installment, no auto loan, no 401k loans, no personal loans. The only thing I'll have to focus on is my student loan. And I'm going to be just as aggressive with the student loans, as I am with the personal loan. So anyway, that was my experience with debt consolidation loans. Is that, yes, it worked for me, but there are pros and cons to it. You need to really sit down and decide whether or not that's going to be right for you. Sorry for the length of this video. If you made it this far, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Post my videos. You can find me at youtube.com/at Not In My Budget. As always, thank you for watching. You all take care.